Thank you, Forest Service Campground. It was a good night's stay. Beautiful spot. A little bit chilly this morning. This is episode 10 of our cross-country journey, and today we have a 250-mile travel day before reaching the Canadian border at Sault Ste Marie. We'll make a stretch-your-legs stop in Munising, Michigan before stocking up on groceries and spending the night at the Walmart on the border. Yeah, Crystal Falls. Another logging truck.
Want to warn our neighbors to the north, your crazy cousins are coming.
You are. We should say Happy Canada Day to our friends in Canuck. We will be there tomorrow. And the reason we delayed it one day is because we want to go to the Bush Plane Museum that several of you have recommended. And it's not open tomorrow. It's not open today. If you want to know what the boreal forests in Canada and Alaska look like, it looks a lot like the Upper Peninsula. Except the UP is more dense and has aspen.
In 1.5 miles, keep right onto US 41.
We are coming into Marquette, and that is Lake Superior up ahead. And we are also on Eastern time now. We can never tell, but since we keep our van clock on Pacific time, then we know what we're on.
Might be true.
Canada straight ahead. We're gonna stock up on food before we go across the border. So we're stocking up on food here because there's a 15% tax in Canada, including on food. But we know you can't take meat. You can't take, well, you can take small amounts of alcohol, but we don't drink anyway. What else you can't take? Obviously no weapons. What else? Eggs we're not sure about, and it's really hard to find information online about specific items. It's like a secret, and different borders have different things that they don't allow. So we do have a few eggs, but I don't know. We'll see. Then I'll let you know. Another great Walmart stay. Talked to a nice couple from Utah. Just paid the toll to go over the bridge. It was $6.70 US or $10 Canadian. The Sault Ste. Marie International Bridge, a steel truss arch bridge with a suspended deck, is the 10th busiest passenger crossing on the Canadian-US border and the only land crossing for almost 700 miles. Completed in 1962, a double arch on the US side spans the 4 Soo Locks, the world's busiest canal in terms of tonnage that passes through it. The single arch section spans the single Canadian Lock, which is used by recreational and tour boats. The bridge is 2.8 miles in length as it crosses over the St. Mary's River and sees an average of 7,000 to 10,000 vehicles each day. In French, Sault Ste. Marie means the Rapids of St. Mary. For more than 140 years, both sides of the river was a single community under French colonial and later British colonial rule and considered part of Canada. After the War of 1812, the border was fixed to follow the St. Mary River. Beginning in 1987, an annual International Bridge Walk has been held on the last Saturday in June, starting on the Michigan side, with participants finishing in Ontario. It was supposed to happen this year on the day we arrived, but was canceled due to weather. If you're interested in next year's walk, it will be held on Saturday, June 28th. Just a few miles from the border crossing is the Canadian Bush Plane Heritage Centre, located on the north bank of the St. Mary's River. It's dedicated to preserving the history of bush flying and forest protection in Canada. Oh, yeah, there it is. She called it a Tomica? A place where you can hold bugs? Do that later. It was founded in 1987 by a group of local volunteers to preserve the province's history in bush planes and aerial firefighting. They give you comfy seats even. This is the wildfire video. And there's another one next door that starts on the hour. The 30-plus aircraft exhibits are housed in a 64,000 square foot hangar on the site of an old 1924 air base. It is now also the home to the Entomica Insectarium. Wow. That's a good film. Over the past 7 years, John and I have driven 120,000 miles to the far-flung regions of North America. In the lower 48, we're spoiled with transport options and conditions. Traveling in Alaska and Canada, from the Yukon to Newfoundland, gave us a renewed appreciation for the challenges of providing transportation in these regions. Frost heave, river crossings, permafrost, and the long distances between cities are nothing to be scoffed at. Trains, ferries, and bush planes were more often than not the first and only way to get somewhere. I appreciate the freedom that transportation provides, allowing us to embark on journeys that expand our horizons, immerse us in new cultures, and connect us with people from all walks of life. From the thrill of boarding a plane and soaring through the skies to the simple pleasure of a road trip, transportation transforms our dreams of adventure into reality. In every mode of travel, there is a promise of discovery, a chance to see the world from a different perspective, and an opportunity to embrace the vastness of our planet. Here's to the vehicles, roads, trails, and skies that make it all possible, and to the endless adventures that lie ahead, waiting to be explored. This must be the simulator.
I'm George Miller. I'll be your pilot for your tour of the Sault Ste. Marie waterfront.
You see how the canal and lock split the island? They were built in 1895 to bypass the St. Mary's River rapids.
Fire and he'll manage our tanker when we get there. Regional fire check for Dog 6 Airborne.
That's a Viking cruise ship coming in. I think he'd like that as a road trip. Entomica. We're going in to see the insects. Potential here. It could be. No, it's kind of hard to see.
poison dart frogs here, but they're not poisonous in captivity. There's
seriously?
something, we don't know what.
So you're saying that's a dart frog?
Yeah. I don't know which, it's probably like blue and yellow dart frog.
It's large enough.
It's large and in charge.
We don't
What is that one? Is that poisonous?
Yeah, it's really poisonous dart frog, not poisonous captivity.
And
I
it's,
go
love that color. There's a famous painting in New York. That was fun, educational. I particularly like that wildfire movie. As we learned last year from our Canadian viewers, Canada's national highway system, and the TransCanada Highway in particular, is not under federal jurisdiction or coordination. Highway construction and maintenance are entirely under the jurisdiction of the individual provinces. This means there is no national construction standard, and the highway numbers can change based on the province you are in. For British Columbia to Manitoba, it's Highway 1. In Ontario, it is 17 or 417. It was built mostly as a two-lane highway, and it isn't until you reach more congested areas that it becomes a multi-lane freeway similar to the U.S. system. It wasn't until 1960 that Highway 17 was completed between Manitoba and Quebec. The highway is known as one of the most dangerous in Ontario because of its challenging driving conditions, including sharp curves, steep inclines, and unpredictable weather. Our experience, having driven it 3 times, is that it can be rather stressful. The speed limit may be 90 kilometers per hour, but most drivers travel much faster. These fences are really high. That's gotta be to keep out the moose. And then there is the wildlife. Each year in Ontario, there are 14,000 wildlife collisions reported for large animals, which account for 10% of all vehicle accidents in the province. 2-lane roads account for 89% of wildlife collisions. Warning signs and geographical indicators such as wetlands, lakes, rivers, ponds, and dense forests indicate you are in a higher risk area for animal crossings. Driving at dusk or dawn during fall or summer months is especially risky. Moose are at highest risk during the months of June, July, and August. Deer migrate during the fall, especially October and November. In some areas, the province has installed mitigation measures such as exclusion fencing, underpasses, and overpasses. But we've had enough close encounters on our travels to know that the best offense is a good defense. We just want you to know before you go.
Turn left onto Pakeshgog Lake Access Road.
Yeah.
Continue on Pakeshgog Lake Access Road for 3/4 of a mile.
See if they have a spot for us. Let's see if we have the money. Oh, it says open. We really are on the beach. The path to the beach. Oh yeah, look at that. Wow. A little hole down here. And one over here. That was a wet one. Uh-oh.
A little bit.
Making faces. We're at Grundy Lake Provincial Park in Ontario, and It has over 500 sites, although you wouldn't know it because they're spaced so far apart. You can only see really one other campsite. And we're right on the lake. The lady was so nice. She picked out a spot for us on the lake. And of course, there are no mosquitoes here. Not that many.
The mosquitoes here are the size of crop dusters.
Crop dusters, no. But they're not as many as in Alaska. Not even close. I have been trying out this thing. This thing, emits that stuff. Don't know if it works, but I kind of think it does. I want to think it does because those capsules are so expensive. And we bought an additional one before we left the US, and it was about, with tax, it was less than $20 at Walmart. And then we checked one out at Canadian Tire, and it was, with their tax, over $40. So buy them before you come across the border. The truth is, I think John's a little in a funk because the tanks, he wants to get them cleaned out. And the guy that does tank cleanings out of Ottawa, but he has to go to a RV park that has where you have full service. And that's not going to happen. Not on this go round. But there is a dump station here, and we will fill and dump a couple times. Is that it? Is that all?
But that's all, folks.
So the bottom line for these things is that they're like printers. You get a cheap printer, and then you got to buy the refills. I forgot to tell you where we are going today. We are off to Dorset because our friends, David and Lori, are up there. Lori is actually a dual citizen, and her family cabin is up there on a lake, I guess. And we're going to stay with them a couple days before we head on to Ottawa. Lori has suggested a bike ride in Algonquin Provincial Park. And I think I've mentioned it years ago that when we were kids, we used to come up to Algonquin and camp in our Nimrod trailer. And my brother was working on a boys' canoe camp up on Lake Temagami, and we would pick him up and then drive back home. So it'll be interesting to see if we actually get up there. And there is a train that comes by every once in a while, but it's pretty far away. Found one of the First Nations gas stations. It's a much better price, $1.50 per liter. And after the exchange rate, it comes out to be about $4.06 per gallon. Just be careful what you're buying because they sell so many different kinds of fuel, including back there, they have that yellow handle is for dyed diesel, which we think is for, agricultural use. So if you're coming this way, fill up in Sault Ste Marie, Michigan, and then we got here with still a third of a tank, and we are just east of the provincial park, Grundy Lake. It is wet. It's pouring. Yeah, go down that way.